Hey guys, it's Alyssa from alyssanalani.com, and today I'm going to be showing you my setup in my Traveler's Notebook for the month of March. Now, you will notice if you've seen my other two Traveler's Notebook setup videos that this looks completely different this month, and that is because for two reasons. One, because I have come to terms with the fact that I am allowing too many things to fall through the cracks. So, trusting myself to remember things just because it's in my brain, or trusting my brain to alert me when something needs to be done is not a trusty system. So, and I know that in theory, but it's one of those things where you kind of manage to plug along, but you're not doing it well, but you manage to get stuff done anyway, if that makes sense. Kind of like a functioning alcoholic. You're not living well, but you manage to just kind of keep going. That's kind of not the best metaphor to use, but that's just what came to my mind. Anyway, so that's one. And then two, the second reason is because, it was hard to admit to myself, I cannot plan bullet journal style, meaning that I am not one of those planners who can set up my week starting with a blank sheet of paper and catch everything and take care of everything. I am one of those planners who needs the structure of something already set up, which the reason why I'm kind of bemoaning it is because I think in my first or second video I said, oh, I don't use printable planner inserts because I like the freedom of creating my own spreads, yada yada yada. And I did like the freedom. However, the price you pay is your time. And with bullet journaling, it can be, depending on how you do it, very time consuming. I need something where all I have to do is go in and write stuff down. It's already set up, I just have to write it down. The reason why I went to bullet journal style planning in my Traveler's Notebook and not in a bullet journal was because I liked the Traveler's Notebook system, but I thought I needed the freedom of bullet journaling. Also, the inserts that I had been using previously were not for me. They're great inserts, and I will link the shop down below where I got them. They're DIY Fish Traveler's Notebook inserts. She also, I believe, has a system for ring-bound planners as well. So if that's something you've never checked out, please feel free to look it up and see if it might work for you. It just was not for me. So I went ahead and, after avoiding it for a long time, like seriously you guys, a long time, I decided to go ahead, take the plunge, and try Annie Plan's printable inserts, which I have seen before, and I was intrigued, but I was just like gung-ho on, no, I just need to make my own spreads. I don't know. Sometimes we're just kind of enamored with an idea and we feel like we have to stick to it or we're selling out. But, which is not the case. It's not the case at all. I will say this until the day I die, planning is a process. And learning how your brain engages with paper is a process. So here we are in another another season of planning, maybe? I don't know. This is something different that I'm trying, so we'll see how it works. And I made the switch mid-February, and so far, so good. There are a few other things that I need to figure out how to capture and how to keep track of, but I feel like I'm on the right kind of train of thought as I'm figuring this out. So sorry about that long preamble, but I just kind of wanted to explain why this is going to look so completely different. Okay, so first off, I have my calendars. Okay, now in bullet journaling, those of you who have bullet journaled before, you know that you write your calendar, your month, your week, your days, or whichever ones you choose, as you go. And then the future log is for pre-planning or capturing the things that are going to happen in the future, but you don't necessarily have a calendar for, if that makes sense. I couldn't do that. I do too much pre-planning for certain things that just having a little box in a future log wasn't cutting it for me. And I needed to be able to see my entire future month as it will look like, rather than just a little bit on a future log. And so I needed the actual months. So I have the Annie Plans 2018 insert, and it just has your standard month on 2-page spread. Okay, and as you can see, I have the first quarter of the year tabbed, so January, February, March. I have not set up March yet, but what I'm going to do in this is keep track of, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I'm going to keep track of appointments and things of that nature. You will see why I'm specifying what's going to go in here. But appointments and things like that are going to go in there. I am sorry if you just heard my stomach make a little noise. I just ate a bit ago and it's making noise. I don't know. But anyway, if you heard that, that's what it is. And yes, I did hear it too. So this is February, okay? And it has the entire last week of this month, which includes, what is it, like 3 days in March? So I'm still in here. I do have the March, whoops. I do have the March insert ready to go. It's cut and ready to go. And here's why I said in this one, I'm going to keep track of appointments and things. Your month, your single month also has a month on 2 pages. And so here I'm going to keep track of things like paydays, tasks that need to be done. So if I know, I'm probably going to do things like housekeeping type stuff in here, project deadlines probably in here, things that kind of have to do with the household and what I'm doing on my day-to-day. That's not just I have to be here at a certain time, more task-oriented things. Bills, I'll probably keep track of that in here, just so when I look at the calendar I know, okay, you know, based on this check and this check, I need to make sure I'm keeping track of our expenses so that we have enough to cover these bills on these days, things like that. So that's what's going to be on the month spread in the single month. Okay, now this, there are times, and I'm sure everybody can relate to an extent, there are times where something may be so simple, but your brain is so enamored with an assumption that you didn't even consider thinking outside the box, and this is what it was for me. So in the DIY fish insert, it had a monthly chart like this. And this is just, it has a space for a task or an item of some kind, and then it has your month, your monthly days, okay? And then you can track progress, you can track all kinds of stuff. Now, I am not a habit tracker. And I considered this like a habit tracker, and I was just kind of like, I don't know. I'm probably not going to use this because I stink at tracking habits. I tried to in a bullet journal, and I'm just, it's not for me. Maybe in the future, you know, when I'm more mature, I don't know. But seriously, it's not for me. So I was looking at this and thinking this isn't going to be useful, but then I was watching a video by Carrie Harling, who, by the way, is my absolute favorite planner person on YouTube. I have probably watched every single one of her video multiple times, and if you have watched any of her videos and found similarities between how she does things and how I try to do things, you are so on the right track, because I pattern what I try to do off of what I've seen her do. She's kind of like my planner role model. I just love her to pieces. I love her videos. I like the way her brain works, and I like the way she processes things. Anyway, I will link her channel below if you've not watched her. But I was watching one of her videos, and she had a monthly chart, and she was explaining how she uses her monthly chart not for habit tracking, but for just capturing the things that have to be done that month. Some of those items are things that will happen multiple times, which I guess can be considered kind of like tracking a habit, or a progression of items. But the fact that she said that she used this for something other than habit tracking clicked in my brain, and I was like, oh, duh. I can use it for stuff that doesn't necessarily have to happen every day, but I can use the chart to mark when I did get it done. I hope that made sense to you. I hope that had meaning to you and I wasn't just rambling. But sometimes you might find that something may not work the way you think it was intended, but you can repurpose it for what you need. Okay? So, in other words, I'm going to be using this not for tracking, 1 through 31, but for tracking stuff that has to be done this month. And here's where I'm going to keep track of all of that. I'm so sorry if that was really long-winded, but I had to say that. So then we come on to what you have your week on a page, and then you have your days on one page. So there's Monday, Tuesday, and so forth. It is a Monday start, which I like because then you have your weekend in one space, in one spread, which I like. I do like my month spread to be a Sunday start, but I don't mind my weeks on a Monday start. Okay? It just functionally, it kind of works well. So when February ends, which is today, or I shouldn't say when February ends, when the week ends, then I will put the March insert in here. Okay? Alrighty, so just functionally, I have my credit card insert, which I keep, as you've seen before, pictures of me and my husband. This is wrapped around both calendars. Okay, and each calendar has its own. I can find it. Yep, has its own piece of paper. I also, this is kind of where I was trying to keep track of stuff, but I'm probably not going to do that anymore. I don't know what I'm going to do. I said all of that to say that this is still a work in progress, but this is my goals list for the month, and as you can see, I can check that off, y'all. Anytime you can check off an item is a good thing. Okay, so I keep a little list of things that I want to get done during the month, and so this is my little checklist, and I kept that at the front of the month, and I'll have one for March. Okay, the next section, okay, it really is a section because it's kind of gathered together, is the project planning insert by Annie Plans. And I have not filled it out yet, but I have already decided the different projects and things that I want to keep in here. So this is all it is. You have several pages of this. So you have the name of the project, the dates. I don't know if it's date started or date completed because it does have this little completed box here, but I'm sure you can just, you can write whatever dates that are associated with the project. The details, a to-do list, a notes list, and you have all of this space to play around with whatever, needs to be done for the project. So I have a couple of tabs here for a couple of the projects that will be designated in this insert. I still have a couple more to add, so still working on that. And then here I have another insert. I do not know what this is called. I don't remember what it's called. Excuse me. Oh, I hear sirens. That's a fire truck too. Went right past down the street. Anyway, it has another monthly chart here, so you can keep items and tasks, and it's got a little mini calendar, and then it's got this whole list here that you can work off of. I'm planning on using this for the blog. I have not been keeping up with my blog lately, but I've been crushing my goals for YouTube. My goal was to do 3 videos. This will be my 4th for the month, so I am a-okay with how February has gone as far as content. This has been one of my goals for a long time, so I'm fine with that. But going into March, I will be using this for the blog. I do keep my editorial calendar plans in a large, this is the big Happy Planner. it's the horizontal. Oh, you can't even fit the whole thing in here, but it's the horizontal. And so I do plan on still using this. I'm just kind of fooling around and seeing what works. You guys, again, it's a process. So, but I do want a smaller version of blog planning to come around with me. Okay. So that's what that's for. Now this is wrapped around these two inserts is the pocket and zipper pouch insert. I've just got some of the leftover scrapbook paper from my little covers here. And then I've got sticky tabs. These are the tabs that I use to make the tabs in my notebook, okay? Post-its. And then I have the next section, which is expenses, bills, and debt repayment. So this is some of the stuff that was falling through the cracks. Not that our bills weren't paid, or, that we weren't paying off, the debt, but I wasn't keeping those things in front of me. And I'm very much the person where if it's out of sight, it's out of mind, and I don't think about it until it's time to pay that bill. Some things are automatic and some things I actually have to manually take care of. So I really needed a space where I could really just have these things in front of me so that I am being as proactive as possible when it comes to our finances. So this is, I can't actually show you February, but this is what a month looks like. For expenses, you have your date, your purchases, your amount, and your balance. And what I've kind of been playing around with is having my weeks, like weeks 1 through 4 or 5 if you have a 5th week, and then writing down how much the paycheck for that week was. So my husband does contract work, and so not all of his paychecks are the same. So I just wanted to kind of keep a tally of what his paycheck was, so I know what we're working with, and then make another list that has the categories for our budget. So groceries, fuel for the cars, those kinds of things. So then, and then put how much we plan on spending that month. Okay. So when I make a purchase or when I take care of an expense of some kind, I'm probably going to do some kind of color code system where each budget item has a color, so that when I'm writing it in, I can write down the item in that color or label it in that color, and then have the balance be whatever's left of that budget category. So for instance, if we have, $400 to spend on groceries for example, and I spend $80, then I'll put the $320 in the balance section. Okay, real easy peasy. It does take some intentionality and forethought, but I really want to be better about knowing where every penny is spent. My husband's a saver and I'm a spender, and we haven't quite butt heads about it. Because he's the breadwinner, because he's the one who's making money, I have no room to be in charge, so to speak. So I do handle the keeping track things, but it really, he doesn't say this. It's not his money, it's our money, but I do feel a sense of responsibility where I can't just frivolously just spend the way I might have with my own paycheck. So I try to be cognizant of that and try to be responsible. So this is just a place where I can be more intentional about that kind of stuff. All right, the next section is actually 2 inserts that I've put together because I just ran out of jump bands. So I nestled them together so that they could be on one band. This is the bills insert, and I didn't have this in January, so quite simple. The due date, the bill, the amount, and then a check off when it's paid. I don't have anything yet that I'm planning to do here in the notes section, but I'm sure I will find something. So very easy peasy. The one that's nestled inside the bill section is the debt repayment, and I can show you sort of what it looks like. Up here where it's marked off, I have the information about the account, okay, including the interest rate, which, if there's one thing that'll kick you in the butt when it comes to paying a debt, whether it's consumer debt or school loan or mortgage or whatever, having that interest rate in front of you, I don't know about you, but for me, it's like, oh my goodness, I do not want to be paying this interest forever. So I really need to be serious about overpaying when we can, saving when we need to, which is like all the time, and just being cognizant of that fact. So it also has the interest rate on there and some other pertinent information about the account. And then it just has the date, the amount paid, the interest, and the balance. And then it's got a little notes section there for any miscellaneous information about the payment. So that's that. We don't have a lot of debt, but it is all mine. So I need to really, especially, be keeping track of that. Okay? And then those two are just nestled together. And then I have wrapped around those a homemade dashboard that is a pocket at the top, so you can slip in whatever you want. So I have some scrapbooking paper and some journaling cards. Nothing fancy, you guys, just a little color to add some life to the whole setup. The last two are pretty boring. I have an empty lined insert in here just to take care of like household lists and things like that. Still playing around with what else I could put in here, but that's there when I need it. And then the last insert is my brain dump or miscellaneous notes. So even when I was, excuse me, goodness. Even when I was planning what I'm going to put, I can't show you this, but what I'm going to put in my traveler's notebook, I jotted down what I needed so that I knew what needed to be captured, and then I'm actually separating my books. How about this? There we go. I'm actually going to be using 2 traveler's notebooks. I'm going to try it out this month. I have one that's on its way, hopefully. I was a pre-order. And so I have what I'm putting in this one, and then what I'm planning to put in the other one. So things like that, just random information, things that I'm working on, things that I need to jot down. So that's that. And then here's my pencil board from Taroko Shop, which I got off Amazon, and I will link it below. This is basically it's just for putting under a piece of paper, so you have a hard surface to write on if you need it. That's what that's for. And then I just keep miscellaneous stuff in the back pocket, and then I believe I said I already keep Post-its and tabs and things in there, some journaling cards in there as well, and some stickers. And that's it, you guys. This is why are things sticking? Oh, duh. I was looking in the camera and I couldn't tell what was going on. Anyway, that is it. This is what it looks like. I am really excited to be using inserts, printed inserts this time. I think this is going to help capture some of what has been falling through the cracks. There are, like I said at the front end, there are still some things that I need to figure out and plan. As you can tell, or as you can see, my playbook is not in here. I have it ready and waiting for the new, I'm not going to be using this for this. It's just kind of residing in here for the time being. But my playbook, which needs a new cover, my lists insert, where I keep random lists, that is in here, and then my book insert is in here. So still playing around with what's going to happen. They're going to go in my new traveler's notebook along with some other things that I'm working on. So, but the bulk of all of the heavy stuff that needs to be taken care of happens in here. And we'll see how March goes. I'm really excited to see how it all transpires. If you have any questions or comments, you know where to leave them. And I will leave everything I can find in the description. Until next time, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you all later. Bye-bye.